A very good morning to you and you're welcome to the program. Good morning, Ghana. And we're live from the studios here at Peniel, and we're streaming also on social media platforms. It's Good Morning Ghana, and it's also on Metro TV page. That is Metro TV Ghana. Follow us on channel 277 DSTV as well. And this is Good Morning. We're going through the headlines of the newspapers. We thank the Black Stars for putting a smile on our faces, at least. So the 1,001 coaches giving all their analysis, they're all welcome. But this is how to bring back the love. Let's tell the boys. I don't know what we're doing right, but for me, it starts with a coach. So we'll go on with the headlines of the front pages. I start with the Daily Graphic, and it says, corruption cases, rule of natural justice will prevail. President, use pulpits to preach peace. Moderator, NDC 32nd anniversary. Country needs urgent reset. Professor Opukwajiman. Black Star subdues stubborn wild beasts. Now, at the Ghanaian Times. At inauguration of new AG Ministry of Justice Office Complex, I'm committed to corruption fight, says President, as he hails AG for completion of law projects. Hold us accountable, majority leader to media CSOs. IFRC allocates $1 million to support climate change action in Ghana. Norwegian vessel assesses Ghana's fish resource marine pollution. Daily Guide. Nana opens law house. I won't skip due process. Asanteman holds you in high esteem. Mamponghene to Baumia. Digitalized law improves practice. AG. New Crusading Guide. Akufo-Addo laws AG's dedication to justice. Commission's law house complex. I won't skip due process to fight corruption. Akufo-Addo jabs Mahama. Let's unite to develop Ghana State ni Okanta Ankara the second. Tree planting exercise progressing Akufo-Addo. Togolese MTR party leader seeks Ghana support to end political crisis. At the top right corner, Vivo Energy, Ghana promotes green energy through Green for Clean project. The Insight, Mahama, he vows to retrieve Cecilia Dape's cash other payments. EC's votes suppression tactics against NDC will fail, says NDC Botiano Hope PC hopeful. Over 100,000 Americans form red line around White House to protest U.S. support of Israel. Resistance is what liberates U.S. Palestinian and internationalism. The Statesman, the Daily Statesman. Brunei Ghana strengthen relations. 10-story law house commissioned. Akufo-Addo touts progress in judicial sector. We hold you in high esteem. Ashanti chiefs to assure Baumia. Abner Osasari launches election campaign in Etiwa East. The New Finder, World Cup hopes alive as Black Stars beats CAR in 7-goal thriller. Nanado Lords advanced digitalization in new law house. NHRA to implement mandatory health insurance for all visitors to Ghana. FRSP supplies highly subsidized 130,000 day-old chicks to poultry farmers in Ashanti. Daily Post. NDC at 32, NDC UK Ireland says it's time for all supporters to exercise courage to resist the oppressor's rule. We will protect your votes, Mahama assures Ghanaians. Of MPPs, gerrymandering and intimidation, if the police continues to look on unconcerned, we shall react, Central Region NDC warns. 10-story edifice law hub project completed after 23 years delay. And the Economy Times, BOG incurs 2.4 billion Ghana cedis cost on G4O ends 2023. Collateral registry records 28% growth. Overall, 500,000 business to be deleted from companies registered by June ending. Okay, so that's all we have for you this morning on the headlines. Let's take a break. We'll be back shortly. All right, welcome back to the program. It's Good Morning Ghana, and I have my guests with me already in the studio. Let me welcome the two members of parliament who are all on the Public Accounts Committee. Honorable Clement Abbas Apak, member of parliament for Bisa South constituency, and also a member on the Education Committee. It's been a while on the show, actually.
Yes, honey. Yes, it's been a while, but you know, it's always refreshing to reconnect.
Yes. I
see myself as a member of the family, so I miss all of you as well.
Exactly. And happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'm pretty sure my parents are watching.
Yes, are they?
You know, the old man is 80 years old,
and the
old lady is 77. Hey. So kicking old school. Yeah, but I was with them just yesterday.
Yeah.
Before I continue to Tamale to take my flight.
Okay. Are they in your constituency?
No, they are in Bolga.
They are in Bolga.
In the regional capital.
Oh, okay.
It is well.
Okay.
So I appreciate your good wishes.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Even my wife.
Yes.
We are both June born.
Hey. So she's when?
We celebrated her on June 5th.
Oh, okay.
And I am 11th.
Yeah, that's about 6 days ago.
Yes. Okay. But my own sister, my own only biological sister,
it's also
Margaret Azundem, she's a police officer. She is also June 5th.
Okay.
So she and Madame are June 5th. I am June 11th. Then my younger brother Anthony, our third born, who is a chief fire officer in Techima, one of the districts. He's June 13th. So
you're trying to say that the Junes are raining or what?
Actually, no. In our family, the Aprils are raining. 3 of my daughters are born in April. Yeah, 3.
I see.
No, actually 4. 4 of them are born in April.
Hey.
Yes.
Your children are how many?
Well, officially they are 6. Unofficially, they are 6. That's what you want to hear.
Officially, they are 6. Unofficially, they are...
In fact, they are 7. You know, I have three older daughters,
okay,
you know, who are in North America.
Okay.
You know, so my first, second, and third born. Their mother is an American.
An American, yes.
From San Diego.
Yes.
She's actually Caucasian. She's white.
Yes.
And then I have 4 younger children with my current wife, who is from Equiapem, Matilda. So I like to joke around that I have the UN in my house, you know, or if you like, the Black Stars. I have my local team players and the foreign players. And so when they come, I have to look for a minibus, you know, and drive them around. So
anyway, exciting family you have.
And in fact, my mother is born in April too. I forgot. So the Aprils are more dominant. Yes.
But still,
they've beaten the June
it's still
bonds.
August bonds. Anyway, welcome once again, and happy birthday to you. Also, another member of Parliament, and he is for Anya Soltum constituency, and in the person of Dr. Dixon Adoma Kokesi. He's a medical doctor, actually, and he's also a member of the Public Accounts Committee. And on the Health Committee as well, right?
I've been on the Health and now currently on Foreign Affairs.
Oh, you've been moved to the Foreign Affairs Committee. Oh, that's interesting.
But I'm a friend to the Health Committee.
Yeah. Okay. When you're a friend to the Health Committee, what do you do?
So,
like when you're a friend to any of the committees,
what happens is, in consultation with the chairman and ranking, at some point in time when they need your help and support or contribution, you join them. Okay. With the expertise you have. So I'm also happy to be here. Happy birthday, Honorable Apak.
Thank you, comrade.
And anytime, you know, people add another age, it's fantastic. So congrats, and let's know where we'll be cutting the cake. Just make sure the colors are...
The colors are what?
Black Stars colors.
I thought you would say the colors would be blue, white, and...
I forgot to commend them. I mean, they did well. They did well.
After 4-3. In fact, one of the interesting things yesterday, you know, when we scored goal number 2, it was a mute rousing because we're down and we had come up. Then the volume started increasing in town.
That's right.
When you know we went further. But it's interesting. You know, you can judge by the volume of the goal if you're up or down.
Yes, I noticed that.
Ghanaian supporters are quite interesting. But we really need to commend them. Sports, like any business, is not easy. When you're in, it's different. When you're out, it's different. I always look at the situation of playing draft, or in local parlance, dummy. When you are seated and playing, you see the pawns different. When you're outside, you're like, if you do this, you can do this. And that is always the problem of those of us who observe from afar. When you're in the heat of it, or in the boxing ring, yile. When you're outside, it's easy. When you take a punch, then you know what yile means. But they've done well, and it's exciting. And I think that we need to really re-engage with our sports fraternity. Sports in high schools, or shall I say junior, and then senior high school. We need to improve on it so that the rivalries. I mean, I remember, Interco was a big deal, but now, I don't know. It doesn't sound like Interco is a big deal anymore, and I'm hoping that some of the other sports, especially running, the likes of basketball, which I enjoyed most of the time, and many other sports, javelin, high jump, we need to rekindle this, because these are ways in which you're able to sell your country, and we don't invest enough. Yesterday I was looking at one European match, the cost. When you look at all the players and you sum up per game, how much goes into one game in Europe. We're very lacking in terms of our investment in women's soccer, for instance. I know some of the players, and their situation is nothing to write home about. And it's unfortunate, because sports is very key in bringing the country together. Yesterday, there was no NDC MPP in the country. Everybody was rooting for Black Stars. And I really think that we need sports to heal us, heal our wounds, sports to bring us closer together.
If I tell you how sports, yesterday's match, healed my wound, you'll be shocked.
Emotional.
It was so drastic.
Emotional.
It was so, and it was so emotional.
Let me tell you a funny story.
It was like my emotions moved from here to here.
Let me tell you.
Extreme. Like there was no even median. It was just extreme. I was so down until I heard, and I couldn't watch the match. So later.
So when you hear the sound, depending on the crescendo of the noise, Ghana has scored.
Then I knew that something had happened. And my emotions was not even in relation to the match.
Yeah.
It was just personal issues that I was having.
Yeah.
And that personal issue all of a sudden just vanished.
You see? There are connectivities.
It just vanished. My tears went. I just didn't remember anything. Everything was, I was happy.
Yeah.
I remember when Ghana won the Under-17 World Cup. With these guys that are now our age. What's his name? Sami Trugas, Azika Sari, and co. I was then visiting my auntie, Auntie Lydia in Kofodia, and her husband, Mr. Ambrose. And he had a TV. He was then working with post and telecommunication. A man who was a nurse. And this is a man that I dreaded, that I could never really get close to. But I remember when we scored and won the trophy. Before I became aware of myself,
He had lifted you.
I was in an embrace with Dada Ambrose, and we were hopping everywhere and jubilating. I mean, that is just the power of sports.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, the victory and the euphoria,
Yeah.
it swept us
Yeah.
off our feet.
Yeah.
And we forgot that there was any barrier
Yeah.
between us.
Yeah.
And after that, he actually gave us money to go and have a good time.
Yeah.
Kofodio Ejuso at the time, we went out and marched all over. I mean, that is the power of sports. And I agree with you. And so the advocacy,
There's
we need
something
to
about
advocate.
patriotism and nationalism.
Yes.
No matter how much you have not been oriented with, it's in it.
That is the point.
So somehow something ignites it. And that thing has to do with anything nationalistic that puts the country on the map.
But we must nurture it.
Yes, we have to nurture it.
We must nurture
and
it
we have
in
to
a way
work at it.
that would highlight the positive aspects of it.
From another...
And you see, my issue, and I agree with you, just briefly, we need to develop other sports as well.
Yeah.
Because we have a wealth of talent. And I know in Parliament it has come up, where we've had debates and conversations about how we can enhance and support nature and develop other sports. I mean, I played volleyball all the way to the university, and I know we have some very good volleyball players in this country.
Even our hockey.
My younger brother, Professor Park, he played basketball all the way to the national level. But up until recently, he was the head coach of UCC. And his area is into sports administration, if you like, you know, kinesiology. You should know that area. So we need to, because we have so much talent. But my problem to Annie, and I think I've voiced this out before, we are developing in terms of structurally without considering the designation of space for sporting activities, and particularly for youth activities, social activities. And that is a big worry.
Yeah.
Even where we had parcels of land,
Even for children, children games.
most of those pieces of lands have been taken over and built on. So you would have whole communities without designated areas for social activity and interaction.
Yeah.
So you have this digital age and the availability of cell phones and the internet has now taken over as a source of social activity for a lot of young people, because they simply have no space to go run around, bounce a ball, kick a ball, hit a ball, you know, just to cool off. And that in itself also has implications for not just the physical growth of young people, but also the mental growth. Everybody's on their phone, you know, at a very young age these days. So, well, he's a medical doctor. I mean, we know that physical activity has a relationship to mental agility.
But I'm saying that even Children's Park, we have not been able to maintain Children's Park.
Well, I mean,
So
at least
I honestly, sometimes
let's
it's an issue that we keep talking about. But
commend
you
this
see that
administration. At least we've seen a lot of AstroTurfs. I must admit.
Don't go there. Don't go there.
Oh,
don't ignite an argument.
No, this one is not an argument. Even through all the challenges, at least I have been on about 12 AstroTurfs in places where I never would have thought we'll see green earth for soccer. And you know, listen, let's the positives, let's appreciate it. Granted, we need more investments. And I want to use this opportunity because we're talking about sports. You know, my senior high school in my constituency, Odogono, they have a debilitated basketball court. So any corporate entity interested in supporting them, please, this one, look at it and help us.
Annie, just hear me out on this. Speaking about secondary schools and sports, there is a challenge there. And you know, I sit on the education committee. one of the rather unfortunate developments surrounding the current state of affairs in our secondary system is that sporting activities are receiving very less attention and support. So hitherto where you used to hear of interschools and colleges, these days it has become a challenge because of, from my interactions with the various secondary schools, matters to do with funding. Mm-hmm. And it is unfortunate because that is really at the age, at the level where we can really identify, nurture the talent. But even for the lower levels where physical activity is necessary, because of the challenges to do with funding for the basic sector and the challenges to do with the irregular remittance of the capitation grant, these days, public basic schools are not able to organize sporting activities. They can't, because the money is simply not there or is insufficient for them to take care of their basic needs and then to organize sporting and cultural activities. So if you notice these days, you don't hear of sporting activities at the basic level. Yeah. And I think that in itself is also an issue that we need to address as a nation. I've been raising it, in other fora. But since we are talking sports,
we have to introduce the security training and some of these sporting activities.
Yes.
There are two major things that I've always thought that when it comes to education, we should introduce right from the basic level, where children learn how to be security alert right from childhood till they grow. When you get to maybe secondary school level, then you go for formal government sponsored training, security training, that like the Nigerians do. Sometimes they come and they look like military men, but they are not really military men, it's like paramilitary sort of training for them.
I agree.
So all those things we have to introduce in schools.
Patriotism.
In you.
Discipline.
Yes, because of what is
yes, taught. I agree with you. And
well, the Israel
very good.
Israel module,
right.
Everybody goes through military.
That is it.
Yes.
It's compulsory.
Yes.
And then out of that, they select another.
You see,
for actual military force.
For other divisions in the
that is a proposal that has come up, and I've supported it. And I think even in the law that established the national service, it is in there. We ought to all go through a 6 months.
I think 6 months
military training
is small.
And I think, given where we are going, and I've said this time without number, the bane of this republic is indiscipline. If we can reduce our level of indiscipline by even a quarter, you would see the marvel. We would marvel at what we can do. Indiscipline. I mean, you drink water, you are riding a nice posh car, a car that is worth thousands of dollars. Then you drink water, you open the window, and you throw out the bottle. I mean, how do you explain that? So, and if you look at it, it is replicated in almost every facet. People who ought to know better sometimes are even the most indisciplined.
Yeah.
So how do you then want to hold those who don't know better accountable when you are even misconducting yourself as far as discipline is concerned? So that issue of discipline, I think we can start addressing it by making military training compulsory.
I will be sounding like a broken record when it comes to discipline. Sometimes when you leaders, you speak, you say, oh, people who are not supposed to know better because they are riding big cars, they are supposed to know. Really?
Well, I don't exclude myself.
He's not saying.
I am speaking generically.
Yes, I'm also speaking generically.
Very well.
That if you actually think that it's hard, I'm just sounding like a broken record to myself.
We can speak generically, but we also have individual responsibilities.
The people who are in Israel that we are citing as an example, the people who are in US that we're citing, the people who are, which country have the best practices? Norway, Germany, Holland, you name them. You think they can't behave like us?
No. Let me come in here. Listen. My experience with the British tube system, around the hours of 11 to 2 a.m. is dirty. Very dirty. But by 4, 5 a.m.
It's clean.
So the
24-hour economy. Voila.
Oh.
Yes.
The human, my point here is that the human behavior, largely Oyibo or Ghana, is about the same, but it's a system.
There's a system
that comes in. I mean, if you park in New York, some days you can park on the left because there'll be cleaning at 4 a.m. Some days you can park on the right because on Wednesday or Thursday is for that
That's
lane.
correct.
So these systems need to work for us as a country where, our cleanup is on point.
You're right.
As for the human behavior, I wouldn't say that the Brits or the indigenous, Caucasians are necessarily different from black man, but it is the system. You get a ticket.
Doc, you should know.
You get a ticket if you litter.
Exactly.
You get a ticket if you
You can't get away with anything because the laws work. They are enforced.
So
they
that
are
is
implemented.
That is more of where we need to look at. But ultimately, I think that the American sports is largely privatized, even on college.
Yeah.
And let me admit, Masa, when I got to my university in the US some time back, and I looked at the university's stadium, I mean, that was the day I was like, oh my goodness, this is a university stadium. The whole of Ghana. This was 1998. The whole of Ghana, we had nothing close to a university's stadium. And let me commend, at least Lagos now has something, but trust me, there are stadiums and there are stadiums, and eventually we'll get there. You saw the Qatar stadiums, so once you've seen the Qatar stadiums, we won't talk too much.
So maybe we should have used the money we sunk to drill the biggest hole in the world to build a world-class stadium.
You always have to,
It's my job. I must remind Ghanaians that in all of this, somebody has caused great
but
harm.
you have to look at it holistically.
That is the point.
My key point, though, is that
because you see, we've seen the stadia in Ghana rotten.
Oh, but it's had
go
a
to their lowest point. As if
facelift.
We don't have. You see, it's not a
Even
point where
maintenance.
Yes,
and Muhammad
it's
did
not.
well
It's
with
not a
Cape
point
Coast.
where you build a stadium.
But we've come to do more than
It's
that.
not a point where you build a stadium.
Maintenance.
And you
maintain
leave the
them.
stadium.
Yeah.
You have to get people to work. I mean,
Right.
how do we have such high unemployment percentages, yet we have such edifices that must be maintained continuously? Every day, someone must go there, clean there, tidy the place up every day. But is it the money that we don't have to pay people? No, because we see a lot of money being wasted.
Exactly the reason why I brought in that example.
We don't have an excuse that we don't have money
We
to
have
pay.
money. It is priority. It is an issue of prioritization. So that's why I introduced the issue of the National Cathedral. Just imagine what
has Cathedral got?
No, we are talking about priorities.
The sports here.
I'm saying we are talking about priorities.
Okay.
So I would argue that those resources should have gone to fund sports. We would have had some good value.
Not health, sports.
Sports is related to health. You are a medical doctor, you know that.
No, I'm just,
we are even struggling to decide because we don't have a national plan.
Your priority might be different from
Exactly, that's because we don't have a national plan.
In concluding, since we are talking about so many other things, I think sports truly is important. And as a nation, we need to see how we can build it and build it well. And the relevance of sports in national unity or building our nation cannot be discounted. And I believe that, it is not just the responsibility of the sports ministry to manage the affairs of sports in this country. Many private individuals can also support either by even, buying football, who knows, helping with a pitch here and there. And many great talents will come out. Some discoveries will be made that we may have never made, if not for somebody that bought one ball for Ronaldo.
That's right.
You understand? So who knows? You might be the one that buys, ball for the next superstar The next Ghana's ABBEY Pele.
Yeah.
So I'll encourage people,
It's a
you
good
know,
thing.
there are raw talents,
Very.
and sports is about raw talent and working hard. And may I also add that the sports academies are very important, you know, and that one, the Germans don't joke with it. There is almost not a single German footballer who has not gone through a sports academy, which means that right from age 6 or thereabout, they've been at it. So when that guy is on the pitch with you, Masa,
And you know,
it's a different ball game.
The unifying force of sports and its component of promoting peace is something that we all not to take for granted.
Yeah.
You know, when I started in 2016, when a group of young men from my constituency, but based in Accra,
Mention your constituency.
Bulsa South, approached me when I was then working at the office of the president and proposed that I consider organizing games for the Bulsa South youth in Accra, ostensibly because there's always tension when they meet from our various communities, which has led to brawls and fights and some rather unpleasant situations. And I agreed. So I've been doing that since 2016. We just did the one for this year, late last month.
Okay.
And it has brought the people of Bulsa South, particularly the youth in Accra, so close that even they have confessed that the yearly
Sports.
organization of the Dr. Park Bulsa South Youth Games has really transformed the way they see each other, the way they relate. I was surprised when I was at the constituency just these few days ago, you know, interacting with the chiefs and their elders. When I went to one of our communities, Bedema, to meet the chief and his elders and the queen mothers, a young man stood and introduced himself as having come home from Accra, and that he was there to see the games, and told everyone gathered in there how the annual Dr. Park Youth Games for Bulsa South Youth had changed the youth dynamic amongst them. And I was very impressed. I didn't even know him. But that is the power of sports.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it builds this camaraderie, brotherhood.
Yeah.
And when you see each other, Charlie, how, that alone is enough.
Yeah.
You don't see each other as strangers anymore.
Yeah.
And once you feel that you can relate to someone, the tendency for you to be adversarial is always taken away.
So even though we're struggling at the government high level, maybe you have the power at your level, at least at your local
Yes.
level.
Well, I mean, we do. And I know a lot of my colleagues also, you know, organize these
Fun games.
activities.
Well, let me remind you that if you're desperate of getting a toothpaste that will take care of your whole family, Scale 360 toothpaste that's available on the market for you has been approved by the Food and Drugs Authority. It also provides a family with an all-round dental protection throughout the day with freshness. And Scale 360 toothpaste is good for kids, children, and adults as well. And your family will be proud of it. Scale 360 toothpaste brightens your teeth, prevents cavity, and with its cool mint, it gives you fresh breath throughout the day. And it's a quality product from Samara Company Limited, producers of Sasso. It's available on all supermarkets and malls. Call them on 024-686-4798. Scale 360 toothpaste, happy smile. Lift and elevator is also available on the market for you who are struggling to use the stairs in your homes and offices. Lift and elevators comes on the market with American pneumatic vacuum elevators, and it's simple and self-supported elevator with both homes and offices. Guess what? It also can lift your goods as well. So wheelchairs can fit in, and they come in custom-made modules. So it's affordable and can be installed within 3 days. Lift and elevator is located at Sakumono. Reach them on 0200-535-1515 or send them an email to elevatorsgh@gmail.com for your consultations and best solutions as well. Okay, let me go straight here, maybe before I go on education. Yesterday, there was something, maybe I don't know if I should describe it as landmark, you know. something that happened here in Ghana. A 10-story law house commissioned, and people seem to have so much interest in this work that was done. It was started 23 years ago, and yesterday it sees the light of day. So statement says that 10-story law house commissioned. Nanado Law's advanced digitalization in new law house. We also have Nana opens law house. I won't skip due process, and that's what Nana says. New Crusading Guy says Akufo-Addo Lord's AG dedication to justice. Yeah, okay, and I think you have the daily graphic too. It says that what? Rule of natural justice. Thank you. Rule of natural justice will prevail. That's His Excellency Nanado. Ghanaian Times says that I'm committed to corruption fight. I'm interested in that one. So, His Excellency, on page 8 of the Ghanaian Times, this is how Ghanaian Times captioned it. I think yesterday we showed it live here on Metro TV, so you probably can get the videos as and when my producers put it up. But it says that President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo says that he will not sacrifice due process and the rules of natural justice in the fight against corruption. According to him, he remained an ardent believer in the need to stamp out corruption in the society. However, this would not be done against due process and rules of natural justice. Quote, "For my part, and let me state it again for the record, I will not set aside due process and the rules of natural justice or on the altar of the fight against corruption, no matter how much opprobrium this position incurs for me," he stressed. President Akufo-Addo said this in Accra yesterday when he inaugurated the newly constructed office complex of the Ghana of the Office of the Attorney General and Ministry of Justice. The new 10-story complex has a 2-tier car park, conference room, a 130 office for the staff of the Ministry of Attorney General Department. The project was commenced in July 2005 under the Eswa Akufo administration but stalled after 2009. However, following the assumption of the office of President Akufo-Addo, work started again. Inaugurating the facility, President Akufo-Addo said the edifice was not just for celebration of new building, but a collective commitment to rule of law and justice in the country. He noted that the new building symbolizes government's strong dedication to upholding the tenets of rule of law, which was bedrock of any thriving democracy. President Akufo-Addo said the situation where the Attorney General had handled international arbitration solely represented a marked departure from the previous practice where external legal expertise was often sought. So he said that strengthened Attorney General's office had demonstrated notable success, effectively advocating Ghana's interest on the international stage and achieving favorable outcomes. Various arbitration proceedings, including reducing the cost of proceedings of the state. So this is proof that our belief that a strong legal system is essential to the development of the prosperity of our nation, he stated. President Akufo-Addo said his government had embarked on a journey of digitizing and modernization of the legal and judicial systems, adding that the official administration of justice must keep pace with technological advancement. In addition to this, he said the government had also committed itself to improving judicial infrastructure, providing resources to ensuring the safety and security of janitors who often face risks in line of duty. He reassured Ghanaians that the law enforcement agencies of the state, including the Office of the Attorney General, will do all within their power to ensure that law and order prevail in the country at all times, especially during the critical election year. Quote, "We will not allow the peace, security, and stability of the nation, which has made Ghana a beacon of democracy of the African continent, to be compromised on the altar of ambitions of political party or presidential candidate. It will not happen, he stressed. The president assured that the laws in the statute books, including those on the vigilantism, would be strictly and vigorously enforced to preserve the peace and tranquility of the country. Quote, "We owe that to the good people of Ghana who demonstrated so consistently and openly their deep attachment to peaceful democratic values," he added. He urged the judicial to continue to adapt and evolve the country's legal system to meet the changing needs of society, adding, but, quote, "but in doing so, we must remain steadfast in our commitment to justice, fairness, and equality for all."
Wow. Well, I think for me, there are two legal people that comes to mind who have shaped my world to some extent, and they're all late. Justice Omari Sissu, and then, let me say, teacher father Bempombuta, who was a very close friend of my old man, and my interaction with them over the years have, to a large extent, shaped my outlook on law. A country's progression, to a large extent, depends on how well they take care of the folks who can't take care of themselves. And by all measure, I think it is through the legal lens that this country now has been transformed from military rule to now a democratic dispensation. And I know that this edifice is a symbol of put your money where your mouth is. And I think Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has put in his money where his mouth is with regards to investment into the rule of law and all the things that come with it. I think that yesterday was monumental and a huge advance to the legal fraternity in this country. And I'm praying and hoping that out of this, many stewards of the fraternity will be born. And what I mean by that is that we're behind when it comes to something like the, mining-related laws. When we compare ourselves to Nigeria, they have been doing a lot of mining-related legal cases, and their case volume on mining is far more than what we have as a country, and our expertise in terms of doing that. And unfortunately, it comes to bear based on the royalties and arrangements we made with the investors in mining. And I think that in a decade from now, Ghana's legal armory for some of these very crucial aspects of our society would improve and can shape the destiny of this country using very well thought out bills, very well thought out laws, and more importantly, the administration of justice, so that people are very careful when they are appropriating funds. People are very careful when they are spending tax money and the consequences thereof. And I think that this is only the beginning of many, many good things to happen to this country. And I must say that some of the people who shaped my world, if they had a plush building like this to work in, I'm sure they would have been very, very happy. But I know for sure that many late justices, many late lawyers, and even people who have had to use legal services in this country would be happy. And in my closing, I'll plead with the legal fraternity because the judiciary is an arm of government. And I'll plead with them that they embody truly what they are supposed to, which is the administration of justice in all fairness. And I'm always happy when I see that fair and balanced, symbol and in the administration of justice. And I would hope that this becomes an exciting moment for them to really adhere to the professional tenets and not do the wrong thing, because we are watching. And as a partaker of legal cases to a large extent, I mean, in our country, I think the volume of land litigations far exceeds the volume of laws, or let me say when you have proprietary production of something. What is it?
Comparative
when you
advantage.
invent something.
Oh, okay.
What do they do? They give you something.
Copyright.
Or shall I say, those things I'm hoping would improve, because that is what excites people to be originators and creators. And I think that the media...
The Chief Justice actually said this, that he actually called on governments to significantly enhance facilities across Ghana to improve the delivery of justice. Speaking at the inauguration of the Law House, she said the Justice Sokonu underscored the urgent need for expanded infrastructure and resources to address the complex demands of the nation's justice system. Access to justice goes beyond providing courts. Chief Justice Sokonu emphasized access to justice includes facilities for legal education, law reporting, facilities for law reforms, and that's where my interest was, especially when it comes to the land litigation issues. And then she said facilities for legal aid services and well-resourced professionals along the justice delivery chain. So she highlighted the necessity of deliberate measures to meet the diverse need of legal professionals and their broad justice network.
Yeah. So I think that, this is in a good direction, and I think every well-meaning Ghanaian, including the APACs of Ghana, can appreciate that regardless of...
Be careful, you don't draw me in to return favor.
Regardless of their, criticism about the government, can attest to the fact that this edifice is a huge addition to Ghana's progress. And now when we are citing number of hospitals, we can also then add this, because this is a legal hospital, and it will attend to many legal problems. Listen, people die from...
Do we have a maternity ward?
people die from bad litigation.
Since today is my birthday.
Understand?
I hope there's a maternity ward there.
People die from bad cases, when your case doesn't go well. When
That much I agree.
You really need to have won. So I'm hoping that this legal clinic, to a large extent, will heal many people who have heavy litigation, especially land, and it's a problem of this country.
Yep.
People and land matters plenty, and then once in a while, family-related property appropriations can be a hassle. So I think I'm happy that I've seen this in my lifetime, and I know that it would inure to the benefit of the ordinary Ghanaian. Yeah.
What's up, Pak?
Well, I think that is always encouraging when projects that were started by previous administrations are completed. In fact, our 1992 Constitution expects and mandates that, successive governments should continue and complete projects started by their predecessors. And so that is a good thing. But, Annie, is it not an irony that the president spoke usually with such vigor.
Before I get to the president's, speech, in the continuation of projects, did you touch this project when you were in office? Because according to reportage, it looks like it was abandoned during 2009.
I haven't done any background checks. So quite honestly,
you don't
I don't know whether we did or not.
Okay.
But generically, I believe in the call by the Constitution.
He stated that when he was Attorney General for Kufuor, that is when it was envisioned.
No, I have not argued against.
No, I'm just making a point that in relation to your successive government,
yes,
this is something that was dear to the president's heart when he was working with the Kufuor administration, and now has seen daylight.
Completion. Good. And we need to. That is the way it should be. I mean, as you know, our flag bearer John Dramani Mahama has committed to completing abandoned projects. I mean, that is actually part of the message that he's presenting, and it makes a lot of sense. I mean, we invest colossal public resources.
So from 2008. This is what Business Ghana says. Sorry, it's actually delaying to open. It says, President John Ajikun Kufuor on Friday this was 22nd of June. On Friday, cuts the sword for work to begin on the construction of the two major trunk roads. Oh, not this one. Not the road.
Shall I continue while
yes,
you look for it?
You can continue. I'll look for it. Yeah.
So, the point I'm trying to make is that the president's posture and the vigor with which he spoke clearly goes beyond the edifice. I think he used it as a platform to draw attention to, and if you like, comment on much larger societal issues related to and justice delivery in one way or the other. And I'm just saying that, for me, it is ironical that we are celebrating, rightly so, an edifice that is going to enhance justice delivery. And we also get to hear the Chief Justice still making a passionate appeal for more to be done in terms of infrastructure and other facilities and amenities to enhance justice delivery. Because justice delivery, I believe, also includes the well-being of those who are mandated to superintend and ensure that citizens get justice if and when necessary. So the irony I am seeing and I want to point out is that we are celebrating an edifice, but we fail to criticize the demolition of worthy accommodation that was housing judges.
Oh.
I mean, so it's almost as though we negate the good we want to do.
It's a balancing act.
By something that truly is unjustifiable.
It's a balancing act.
Just imagine how this new edifice would have added to
what we
already had if those bungalows, which we paid serious amounts of money to build, were there. As we speak now, we are having to pay to house our judges in private residences. Think about what those monies that we have to pay to provide decent accommodation to our judges in private residences could have also done in furthering.
Have we rented for them?
Yes.
That's what we're doing.
Initially, but I think there's a new arrangement. Which,
well, do your checks, but as far as I know, that has not happened.
Yeah.
But so I just want you to appreciate.
We also cut short, I think in 2001 for Law Village.
No, but let me add that. Listen, when you go to Kumasi, for instance,
what's the Law Village? How
many housing opportunities have been created for legal.
The point I'm making is that
this was commissioned
it would
about
have been
2 months ago.
Add-on. We would have moved a bit further.
Yeah.
You understand? If for nothing at all, the resources that we are spending to accommodate our judges would have also been used to enhance and add on. And the likely expenditure. Now, you see, Kizzy, you want me to slow down?
No. Oh, no. Points well made.
I'm making the point.
Points well made.
So if we want to discuss these matters, we must discuss them holistically. And that is my concern. We cannot be celebrating an edifice when we are also guilty of creating a project that has wasted public resources, which could have enhanced the justice delivery system by allowing the justices to live in those residencies, and then using the money that we are using to rent
religion complements
for them
the law
to add on additional infrastructure.
Religion complements the law.
I have a serious number of issues to raise with regards to the president's commentary.
Religion complements the law.
He speaks about...
It does.
You will not sway me. He speaks about peace and order and gives an indication that the security agencies would do their job in ensuring that there is peace and security. That is a good call. But we ought to ask ourselves whether this current government, the Akufo-Addo-Bawumia-led MPP government, and even the president himself, his posturing and pronouncements promote peace, unity, and coexistence. When you make pronouncements in an election year that many observers believe is going to be tension-packed, competitive, that you will not hand over to somebody you have beaten twice. What impression are you creating? When we know that it is the people who have the mandate as granted by the Constitution to decide who becomes their president. When you appoint politically exposed persons who belong to your political party as directors of an independent body, that the Electoral Commission, in the face of opposition and caused by independent citizens and civil society organizations, to step that back because it creates, reasonably so, suspicion of a plot to manipulate the will of the people. You are setting the stage for a heightened propensity of rejecting the outcome because of the characters who have been put in place to man an otherwise independent entity. So the president's own conduct, and if I may add, the issue of selective justice, where two people commit the same offense, and yet one walks away, and the other one is dealt with according to the law as per the agile response by security agencies. Why is it that somebody can fire a weapon, a sidearm, in a public space and walk away, and yet somebody is found to have a weapon in her car, duly registered, and she is arrested and detained? So all of these things have implications for peace and security. And so when we begin to see and people begin to notice selective justice, inequality, and the wanton use of state security apparatus, ostensibly for political purposes, it doesn't set the stage for peace and coexistence. Then he talks about the fight against corruption. In fact, I almost laughed myself into insanity when I heard Akufo-Addo speak about corruption. I'm shocked.
But let me ask.
How can the mother serpent of corruption try to talk to us and lecture us about corruption?
Let me ask one question.
When the standard that he set as an opposition candidate,
Apart.
he has not even met that standard.
Apart.
The minimum standard. We know the corruption perception index. I mean, that is an independent assessment. Independent assessment. And everyone knows that under Akufo-Addo Bawumia, their best record was, their best record is the worst record under a previous regime. Everything that he told us that he was going to do to fight corruption, adopt the Anas principle. Anas himself has now become a fugitive because Akufo-Addo and elements within his government have fought Anas to the extent that Anas doesn't even feel safe to be in this environment. Should I mention Manasseh? Almost every entity that has risen, and even individual public citizens, to fight corruption or to take up the fight against corruption under Akufo-Addo and Bawumia, have themselves become targets. Look at what happened to Domolovo, one of the best auditor generals. And he knows, we sit on the Public Accounts Committee, that Ghana has ever had. Selfless, willing to apply the law without fear or favor. Look at the circumstances under which he was ousted from office. All because he had the boldness to stand up for the people of Ghana in challenging an expenditure that could not be justified. And the list goes on and on and on and on. We know that this president has the penchant of interfering in processes that ought to be allowed to traverse by themselves when allegations of corruption are made against public officers.
Natural justice.
And we see even the current special prosecutor openly lamenting, practically crying and weeping, my, like a baby.
Really?
Ankuminam, I walk alone. Ankunam, I walk alone. Miniminyame. I mean, that is how bad it is. So if anyone is to talk to us and lecture us about corruption, it cannot be Akufo-Addo and Bawumia. They have failed. In fact, corruption has won the fight against Ghana under Akufo-Addo and Bawumia. And I can give you a litany of examples.
We're talking about...
Yeah, wait, let me make my submission.
Sure.
You want to know the message we have. I'm giving you the message we have. Look at even this Sierra Park case. In which system where laws are allowed to work, where anti-graft laws work, with the discovery of $1 million
anti-money laundering
US dollars and quantums of Ghanaian cedis in a room, a residential spaces, not attract serious sanction. But what did our president do? Love letter to Cecilia Dapa, way before the security agencies and the requisite institutions started to nibble at looking at the issue. Practically, we were told that at the end of the day, Cecilia Dapa would work, and it has happened. So where is the fight against corruption? Look at the issue of sole source contracts. When Akufo-Addo and Bawumia were in opposition, what are the accusations they made against the NDC and John Mahama administration? Was that we were corrupt. And that one of the conduits for that corruption was sole source contracts. Go and check. This government has granted the most sole source contracts and is almost 8 years in office. Compared to sole source contracts, I would argue, although I'm here to do the research, from Kwame Nkrumah to John Dramani Mahama, day in, day out, even the educational sector alone, I can give you a litany. At the time Akufo-Addo was in opposition, Bawumia as well, their argument was that the issue of public sector corruption is facilitated through the conduit of sole source sole source contracts awarding, procurement. And yet they have come and they have magnified it to dizzying levels. And as some have argued, corruption has now become a social intervention program under this Akufo-Addo MPP government. And we can justify that. If I were to begin to recite the scandals, we wouldn't finish the program today. The only thing that can change the current trajectory is a change in government. And that is why John Dramani Mahama has said that when he comes, his own appointees will be held accountable. And he will hold appointees of previous administrations accountable. That is what you do. And he has a record of doing that. As president, some of his own appointees were investigated and held accountable. Unlike the clearing agent president, quote unquote, who immediately intervenes and sets the stage for his accused appointees to work. And let me say that the current flag bearer of the MPP, unlike our flag bearer, who has been bold to speak about corruption and to speak about his willingness and tested record of holding his own accountable, I have not heard Mahmoud Bawumia speak about punishing members of his own party if he's given the nod to become president. So what that tells me is that the current status quo is going to continue. And as we have argued, one of the reasons why, the current ruling clan was much more in favor of Mahmoud Bawumia compared to any other candidate is because he is going to come and cover the rot, the great loot and share.
That is
of course.
That is not
but he's a member of the same government.
That is not the case.
We are accusing
that is not the case. I think
not dealing with allegations of corruption.
I think I can have some bites.
Do you truly think that if Bawumia were to become president, he will resurrect any investigation?
Can I have some bites
into even the Sicilian case?
But for someone who
John Dramani Mahama will do it.
For someone who has claimed to take the position of a mate, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt that maybe when he comes, he will do something differently.
He can't do anything different.
He will disassociate himself
from
the driver's governance.
Look, he is incapable of detaching himself.
There are two things I need
from the current system, the current status quo.
Things.
He is incapable.
He's incapable.
Yes, look. If you want me to be honest, Bawumia is a piece of clay in the hands of Akufo-Addo.
Hey.
He is not a man of his own. What he is doing,
don't
what he will
misjudge
do,
his humility,
is going to be molded by Akufo-Addo. It is clear and simple and straightforward. No. We know. Ghanaians know this.
So now that I can make a few points.
I haven't given you the chance.
So the point I'm making is that when it comes to the issue of corruption and the fight against corruption, don't take it from me. Take it from Martin Hamidu. Take it from Kisia Jabeng. Take it from what has happened to all the known Ghanaian crusaders against corruption. I mean, look at the deals. So opaque, no transparency, no accountability. I mean, wanton disregard for laid down rules and procedures.
So Honorable Kisi, when it comes to a corruption tack on Nanado, I don't think it's the people that's throwing the mud at him. It's his own actions and inactions that's bringing him a title like clearing agent. And there are a plethora of issues that we can mention. We had elections 2020 where people died. Not people died, people were killed. You don't have the man that's standing for rule of law to say anything about this till date as we speak. One headline that captured my attention, it says, Law House symbolizes MPP's commitment to rule of law. What is rule of law?
So can I come in now? As Honorable Park spoke, one very crucial thing came to mind. Honestly, if you watch a defense lawyer in action, based on Park's summary, we are to make a case that every defense lawyer is corrupt. But that is not the case. And what I mean by that is that there's that key thing, not guilty until proven, right? Or which, how does it go?
Yeah, not
Yes.
guilty.
Guilty until
No, not guilty until
yeah, not
proven.
guilty until proven guilty.
So let's not prematurely put tags on people as guilty.
That's what Nanado.
I mean,
that's what Nanado has been doing.
Who has he put tag on as guilty?
He was prematurely judging when he sends a letter to Cecilia Dapa.
No, and that's why I'm making
that
a
was
point
premature
that.
judgment.
Listen.
He gave the indication that she wasn't guilty.
Can I make
Even
my
before the
point that,
investigation.
listen, the president largely has been rather on the side of a defense lawyer, and that's how I see it, and that's why I'm making my case that if you are the type that is prosecuting people, you will be seen as heavily with the law. But unfortunately, those who are like human rights advocates, those who are always expecting that there should be a wealth of information that proves the person wrong or proves that the person is guilty, will be seen as being on the wrong side of the law. But my argument is that defense lawyers are not necessarily criminals or are not necessarily corrupt. When you have a case against you and a lawyer rises to your defense, it is that time that you appreciate that, hey, the law works. And in fact, without a defense lawyer, many people who were innocent would have been jailed. Many people would have been given length of service that were too long. And as I would state today, that I think that Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has been more of a defense lawyer
outside of courts.
With regards to
Outside of courts.
making sure that more details are brought to prove that the person is actually guilty. And the onus lies on the person who says somebody is guilty. Listen, let me admit to a fact that there are many instances that when we were in opposition. Let me land.
I want to come in. Persons who were killed.
And that is a wrong statement, please.
They were killed.
Anne, please.
They were killed.
I beg to differ in the sense that.
What do you want to say? How do you want to describe it?
In the sense that, for instance, in the midst of argument, in the midst of trying to maintain order, I'm just making a point here. When shots are fired and stray bullets injure people or maim or kill,
accident murder.
Please, I'm making a point that when you jump and pre-state that they were killed, I will find that to be.
Were they not shot and killed?
What happened?
No. Listen.
What else do you say?
And that is why I'm making my key argument that,
So
listen,
what happened to
Honorable Kisi.
stray bullets.
So if stray bullets hit you, what happened?
Bullets, and you know there's an instance in the north where.
Look at me.
Oh, no,
If stray bullets hit you,
yeah.
you are a medical doctor. How will you describe it?
You are killed.
Not all deaths are necessarily,
I'm asking,
premeditated.
How will you describe it?
This was not premeditated.
For a doctor, it's not for you to determine what happens in the courts.
He died from a bullet or bullet wound. I mean, that is it. But as to
but somebody shot that firearm.
That's why we should be clear.
So the person who shot that firearm killed the person whom the bullet hit.
But in law,
okay, so with your
key thing is that, was it premeditated?
So with your logic of the defense lawyer,
yeah.
at what point were these people having defense lawyers by their sides? At that point when they were being killed?
No, please.
At
Let's
what point?
hear me out here.
Defense lawyer, the role that Nanado plays almost all the time for alleged corruption issues. These people, at what point do they have access, or did they have access to defense lawyers?
You know, not all things are always necessarily admissible in court. Okay, and per my few years now, I've come to appreciate the fact that perception might be one thing, but what actually goes in court and in court testimonies might be a different thing. And that is why that when you are quoting something that is said in court, it's different from what is a he say, she say. And I'll beg, because you're a fantastic media person, I'll beg of you that let's be more factual. And when you are factual, I personally, some instances where I thought the NDC leadership were very corrupt, let me admit, when we came into government, after further scrutiny,
some of those people have been vilified. True or false? True or false?
You tell me.
And I'll state categorically that there are some cases, like even Opuni's case, which for almost 7 years has not seen the end, because the untangling, the numerous, maybe perceptions of, let me say, misappropriation, as they go further and further into it, some have been seen as not so. And that is a fact. And that is why I'm saying that I've been there before, where I prejudged. And over time, I've realized that, wait a minute. And APAC will attest to the fact that when even controller gives us a huge volume of misappropriations.
You mean the Auditor General?
Auditor General, sorry. And we go through, eventually we come to a conclusion that, apparently this building has been completed. This building is in use. So there are many instances where from face value, when you see it, you jump to a conclusion of corruption, only to go further into it and appreciate that, there was an appraisal in 10 years, and later on, when we did valuation, we realized that the numbers were off and needed variation done. So my key point here is that I'm pleading with you. I think that one, as a president and having a judicial mindset, every president ought to have a judicial mindset. He will be in the middle and expect that all the available evidence to prove the person guilty must come. And he has to be level-handed and as neutral as possible. And when you see a neutral judicial mindset president, you might misjudge him for that. And rightly so.
We're mentioning $1 million.
The prosecutors.
We're mentioning $1 million with regards to Cecilia Dapa. The money is actually not $1 million. It's more than $1 million, except for the fact that we're dealing with a case that some people stole some money in his office, in her house, amounting to about $1 million. That's why we're talking about that. But is the president saying that his minister stashing more than that amount of money in her home, he's not worried?
No, I don't think that's what the president said. I'm wondering why, when somebody should go to police station and make a case, I mean, it will be very serious that, excuse me, I take a case to police station, that I'm being threatened, my life is in danger, and to end up rather being prosecuted for, quote unquote, maybe insulting somebody. I mean, and let's be very mindful of the fact that any individual in this country may have items stolen from their house. Should it be the case that anybody who goes to report to police that, hey, some things have been stolen from my house, rather than looking at the crime committed, which is theft from the individual's house, we rather stretch and just out of curiosity to what the person's net worth is.
I have just a simple point.
I think it's unfair.
Everything that Honorable Kisi has talked about is applicable to every other president but Akufo-Addo.
How so?
So he does the direct opposite.
How so?
The right thing is to stay away,
and
stay neutral, and allow the process to go.
That is what he's been doing.
But when you have a president who jumps the gun, so to speak, to make a pronouncement, and at the end of the day, the public and state institutions...
those that were killed, he didn't make a pronouncement. You said it here.
That ought to have done...
Said it here. I didn't even say it.
No, I'm not even talking about that. We are speaking generally about the issue...
He hasn't made a statement. You are even concerned about that.
My point is about the issue of corruption. I'm speaking about the issue of corruption.
Yes, so...
Because...
But I mean, everything the president talked about had to do with the rule of law.
That is
whether people were killed, whether people have stolen money, whether people have been,
And I think...
So when you jump the gun...
So almost everything the president was speaking to, to me, you can cite one example of what he himself has been engaged in.
That's the point. Exactly what I sought to say.
I beg
the one telling us this.
The president says, I will ensure that this election will be peaceful. Nobody will try to disturb the peace of the country, will be dealt with and things like that. But this is the same president that has seen people die during election 2020, hasn't said anything, hasn't done anything, and it has to do with the rule of law.
Because
is it about the building? You see, that's the problem. It is.
So I can appreciate where you're coming from.
Qualitative than quantitative. It's more quantitative than qualitative.
You know, on the field of campaign, the president has to embolden the followers, and you might misjudge his audacious or bold statement.
That's fine. And
for
that.
somebody who's trying to
do not underestimate the intelligence of the people. People are also watching you. They are listening to you on a daily basis. They don't need me to come and sit here and expose some of these things. Mana said to be exposing corruption. Even if Mana exposes corruption, and we have to discuss.
Has elaborated.
We'll be watching how you respond to it.
No, I think the interior minister.
Look at KPMG report. It came out. What did the president do? He held on to the report, onto people, civil society.
But it's the same president that
was calling
done Rights to Information, Act. It's the same president.
And are they even
responding? Why. You see, that's what the you are even opening the Pandora's box.
So my key
are
thing,
they even responding?
My key thing is that, listen, there's one president who, against all advice, picked an opposition person as his first special
And what was the
prosecutor.
outcome?
And then there's the same president who has empowered the Special Prosecutor's Office.
The special prosecutor who is crying.
A huge budget.
You remember Matiamidu? One of his biggest reasons.
I think we are misjudging
one of the reasons
our
that
president.
He said he resigned.
If
I remember correctly.
We are misjudging the president.
Because Matiamidu said he wasn't get the cooperation of government appointees and even ministers in his work.
I think that the president, by virtue of what happened yesterday, is strengthening the institution, largely the judiciary institution. And I think we should commend him for that.
The president is being pretentious and he's being hypocritical. He does not walk the talk. It's as simple as that.
No, somebody who has built this 10 floor is not walking the talk.
He's the same person who supervised the demolition of bungalows that judges were living in.
Somebody who just commissioned houses for judges in Ashanti region just recently. Somebody who has built many district courtrooms. What are you talking about? Please,
somebody who received
let's appreciate these things.
A petition
you
against
must appreciate these things.
A sitting electoral commissioner for procurement breaches.
So appreciate
and supervise processes.
Appreciate the infrastructure he's putting.
And that is the point you make. You are looking at
that is putting your money where your mouth is.
Quantity instead of quality.
Walking the talk.
And what we want is quality.
No, but what he has to offer now is quantity. So look at least the quantity. When from there we'll move to quality.
Even there he has failed.
Oh, no. The monies...
Even the quantity he has failed.
And in all of this, let me also add
let me finish my point.
No, I haven't finished. Please.
So one electoral commissioner can go through the processes and be removed on the basis of a petition on procurement breaches.
Big, but the Betway
and another one is in office.
It's bigger. So Betway is giving you much more control over every thrilling bet you place. Enjoy the biggest, best, and most reliable cash out in Ghana today. Sign up today on betway.com.gh. Is for persons under 18, regulated by the Gaming Commission. Betway Gateway more. And Blue Juice Energy Drink is also on the market. For 20 years, it has been there. It provides the body with vitamins like vitamin B2, B3, B6, B12, and taurine and guarana as well, which are known to boost your strength and energy as well as promote the high performance and endurance. Blue Jeans Energy Drink has been tested and tried. It's indeed the best Blue Jeans Energy Drink for bold and active men. So go on and grab Cold Can Power Your Day today. It's in shops across the nation, and bets and contact Budget Cash and Carry Limited on 0208 128 190 or 055 001 0000.
So I was going to end on this topic about prisons in this country, which is a huge part of also law enforcement and law and order.
To do justice delivery.
And I really think that, in all fairness, I mean, listen, I've not been in jail before, but I think that the way and manner in which we manage, people who are arrested, people who are put before court, people who are jailed, we need to look at that. And then someone needs an upgrade. I don't know if it's going to be in your manifesto, but at some point in time, I think that the Tamale prison. I mean, Takrade, these facilities need to be upgraded. And we also need to really cater. And I really thought one thing that you were going to push on, which you didn't, is the welfare of our service delivery people in the likes of the prisons officers, in the likes of where they work to house prisoners, even the vehicles that they use to transport.
I hear it's very difficult for some judges to even pronounce judgments, knowing the conditions in the prisons.
Yeah. So I think that we ought to look carefully at that aspect. I mean, not to say that California has one of the best prisons in the world, but I really think that I mean, listen, some people are living large in prisons in America, more so than in Ghana. And I'm not saying that it is right, but I think that yesterday, one man was released from prison after spending 50 years in jail for a crime he has been proven to have not committed by DNA. And look at the situation that the government put him in for 50 plus years. So I'm only making a point that there are some people who necessarily have not committed the crimes that they've been jailed for. And by so, I think that the standard of care in those facilities need to be improved.
Right.
I mean, and that one is something we shouldn't compromise
let me do this
on
quickly.
as a country.
Mark from USA says that, Annie, on the sports issue, sports education and security are bedfellows. Sports can be a powerful tool for education, teaching valuable life skills and promoting academic achievement. Education is key to the economic security and stability and can help individuals make informed decisions to keep themselves and their community safe. Sports can also promote security by providing a safe outlet for energy and emotions and by fostering community and social bonds. Investing in these three areas can have a positive impact on individuals and society, leading to more educated, healthy, and secure wealth. That's when you will see educated people on the streets not littering because they have been trained in the security mindset way that they don't do things anyhow. That's when you know that you have leadership. Not when you think that someone's driving some nice cars who must have sense. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. Mark, thank you for the message. But, okay. So Ambassador Edith Hazel sent this, and he says the project started in 2001. The project actually started in 2001. That's what she says. And the president re-echoing the clearing agent tag, as said by the former president, creates an impression that he is really concerned with the clearing agent slogan. David Ater sent that in. Okay, Tommy Anforson is watching, and he's actually proud of my flag.
That's good.
I'm proud of myself.
I went to school with his son, Kevin.
Okay.
Kevin and Anforson.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I used to see him a lot when I was.
So he actually says that I should give his contact to you, your contact to him. Left, you could kindly get me his number. Okay, and his name as well. Thanks a million. Okay, so Tomiana Fosi he's Dr. Adomako Kisi.
I'm his son. I mean, I'm his son's age, Kevin.
Haven't confessed his sins. You know that he's a son. Good morning, Annie. You know today is Dr. Park's birthday. Yes, Simon, I know. He's just told me. So happy birthday to him.
Again, happy birthday.
Annie, the dormitories in our SHS. Okay.
But I'm being
so
of good
this
behavior.
one says that, and Dr. Park, this one I'll point it to you. He says that the dormitories in our SHS is worse than the prisons. Bed bugs, it cannot be.
In some areas, it's really terrible.
No, it's bad for children who are not being punished. I can understand. But you can't say that on the just general scale is worse than prisons. Hey, prisons.
Well, I guess it is to make the point.
Yes, I appreciate his concern because these are children. They can't be in such conditions. I get it.
This
Bed
is,
bugs, overcrowding, poor food, sickness, poor medical care, and students are sick and more. Dr. Kisi should take up that too. And I agree with you because in the prisons, they also have similar conditions, but it's worse.
Absolutely.
Except for the fact that the children haven't committed any sins. So we don't know why we are punishing them the way we're doing, yes. So, good morning, Annie. Always interesting listening to the President Akufo-Addo when he speaks about corruption. Is the president aware of corruption index? The President Akufo-Addo supervised the payment of $2 million in the name of SkyTrain, paid $12 million in the name of Pualugu Dam, and paid another $12 million in the name of a Japa royalty. In fact, the MPP-led President Akufo-Addo and Bawumia should be the last people to talk about corruption. No, let them talk about it. At least we hear more. Annie, it's always interesting listening to President Akufo-Addo. Okay, I think it's the same message. Let me take a break. I'll come back shortly. You're welcome back. Let's go into some educational issues because Dr. Park is here. I know you've been championing issues with education.
Yes.
Last week or so, 2 weeks, we've been discussing the issue of the Wi-Fi in schools, where we are saying that, we've paid for the supply or the installments, but nothing is happening. We've checked with some of the schools. They don't really have the Wi-Fi. So where is the Wi-Fi?
Well, Annie, before I even nibble
Besides
on that,
other issues,
and I know we don't have a lot of time, but
yes,
I just wanted to make the point that we still have so many districts without their own district magistrate courts.
Okay.
And mine is one, Bulsa South. So if we are going to bring, justice to the doorsteps of the people, we should make it a priority to ensure that every district has its own court. Because having people traveling from Bulsa South to Bulsa North, I mean, it creates a situation.
But Bulsa North
creates a situation. They do.
They do. Okay.
But we, as an independent district, we should have our own, ideally our own court. So I just wanted to put that.
So this is what I have
table.
on the Wi-Fi contract. Is that free Wi-Fi saga? How PPA approved 84 million Ghana cedis contract
Very
for
well.
qualified company.
Very
2018, Busy Internet was the company in dire straits as an alternative service provider, and it's competed against industry giants but achieved little success. Revenue had dipped, and liabilities were increasing along with the staff discontent. To capital, the company owed millions of cedis and unpaid taxes to the Social Security attribution.
It's a very big, murky issue, but let me speak to what I know from my perspective, because there's a criminal component to this.
To the deal?
Yeah. Well, if you are not paying taxes and you didn't go through the proper processes of getting certification, somebody somewhere must be held accountable. But here is the case. The current MPP government had advertised and advocated that if given the mandate, they would provide free internet services to public senior secondary schools, the colleges of education, the district directorates of education, and the regional directors of education. Now, the president spoke about it for the first time after having been elected in 2017, indicating that processes were in place to implement that policy.
The viewers want you to. They think you tilt too much towards me. Okay. Yeah.
Indicating the implementation of that policy. It was in October 2020 that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia announced that 80% of public senior high schools had been connected to or are receiving free Wi-Fi as the manifesto promise being implemented by government. And I remember I even challenged that assertion because my checks indicated that that was not the case. I challenged him to provide the list of the then 720 public secondary schools, 80% of which he claimed had been connected to Wi-Fi. It didn't happen. Then we went for the 2020 election. After the 2020 election, when the appointment committee was vetting ministers, the former Minister for Education, now the Minister for Energy, was asked a question about this Wi-Fi project. So was his then deputy, who was being vetted to become the current Minister for Education and the current Minister for Digitalization, Communication and Digitalization. They all repeated what the Vice President had said. Again, I challenged that assertion. But then I decided that since the Vice President had announced that 80% of secondary schools were benefiting from free Wi-Fi, it will be important to know which company was given the contract to provide the service, how the company was selected in terms of the procurement processes, the value of the contract, and, other matters to do with the selection process. So I filed questions to the Minister for Education. Yeah. The questions were duly admitted. I have them. As we speak, the minister has not responded.
When did you do this?
This was in 2001, 2002, and my colleagues know me in Parliament as somebody who has a penchant of filing questions. And I keep repeating them until they are answered or otherwise.
Oh, wow, okay.
I did that because as an education committee, we have oversight over any and everything that has to do with the sector. And so I expected that the minister and or his representative, and in this case the minister, would have apprised the committee on this policy and its implementation and would have provided all of these details. He didn't. So officially in Parliament and as a committee, we don't have a record and or knowledge of everything that has been exposed by the Fourth Estate. But what I know is this. When it became obvious that at least the infrastructure for delivering the service had been set up in some schools, who knows how many, I don't know, we started getting complaints from the schools and the heads of the schools that the Wi-Fi was not functioning. The Wi-Fi was not functioning.
As a committee?
No, as an individual. Well, nothing has come formally before the committee.
Oh, okay.
So on the basis of that, I did my own checks. Fortunately for us as a nation, Africa Education Watch took an interest. So Africa Education Watch then took it upon itself to conduct a survey. And the survey indicated, or the outcome, was that 20% of the schools that they sampled had reported that they had the Wi-Fi service, but in terms of its usability, there were challenges. So I also then continued to advocate by pushing the issue in the public space. I remember sometime in 2022, the Minister for Education wrote to the colleges of education, which are also supposed to be beneficiaries of this policy, to pay up some 6.4 million Ghana cedis, being the cost of setting up the free Wi-Fi infrastructure through GTech. And so when the information got to me and I got the letter, I couldn't understand why the ministry through GTech was asking the colleges of education to pay for a service that government has announced
already paid.
They have to benefit for free. So that piqued my interest. So I continued to engage all of these institutions. And my conclusion was that a company was being paid to provide a service that was not being provided. Courtesy of the Fourth Estate, I eventually got to know that indeed government has signed a contract with a company called Busy Internet, in December 2019 to provide this service at a value of 84 million for 5 years with a recurrent component of 6.3 million. Annie, this is big money in the context of all the challenges that we have to deal with to do with our students. And as the Fourth Estate has stated, their own checks and their investigation confirms that we have been paying busy internet and or lifting logistics. I mean, we hear it was busy, then it became lifting logistics. 6.3 million Ghana cedis a month.
But in the PPA agreement, if you go into some deal with a company that changes its name, then the whole agreement must...
Well, that is what I'm saying. If you look at the totality of the work that the Fourth Estate has done, there are criminal components. Because issues and questions have been raised about how busy internet was able to secure the contract without the requisite documentation. We are also hearing of matters to do with the company's failure to meet its tax obligations. And that it had even defaulted in terms of the social security contribution of its staff. So that is why I say there are serious components to this matter. I mean, providing internet is a good thing, but paying a company for a service that is not available, clearly we have to raise questions as to value for money. And in 2023, government paid busy internet 56 million Ghana cedis for the period between January and September for a provision of this service. So we are going to activate the mechanisms in Parliament to seek accountability, because this issue is murky. And to say the least, we are only looking at the component that has to do with secondary schools. We are not even factoring in, because this work,
this is a whole deal,
is only the secondary school component. Remember, the deal includes the colleges of education. There are 46. And it's the same situation. It also includes all the regional directorates of education across the country. It's the same situation, as well as the district directorates. So the investigation...
what's the component you are focusing on?
No, we have to look at them in totality. Because these are all education sector related institutions. So it's not just the secondary schools that are being shortchanged. It is also the colleges of education. It is also the district directorates of education.
So two issues are right here.
One
to do with the the value for money on these campuses or in the schools.
That is correct.
That's one. And then the deal itself.
How
the PPA itself was acquired.
Went through.
That's also another
thing. That is it. And look, I've seen documents to the effect that even the contract is inflated. Even the contract is inflated. Originally, and based on the documentation that I've seen, this was communication between some of the now aggrieved staff of former Busy and Busy management. And this is the group that helped to set up the system to win, quote unquote, the contract. The original contract was supposed to be valued at 3.6 million, not 6.3 million. And the parent contract was supposed to be valued at 60 million, not 84 million. So this issue is murkier. And in the coming days, we would expose what we know with documentation, including an IOCO report where IOCO investigated anonymous allegations by some of the former Busy internet staff, if you like, a whistleblower. And that is how the Fourth Estate has captured the issue of tax evasion and the fact that the company did not meet its obligations to its employees. And yet, IOCO has sat on that report, and you have a report. The IOCO report and the officer of IOCO clearly recommended prosecution of the company and the retrieval.
That's a Busy internet.
Yes, and nothing has happened. So it is a multifaceted issue.
You should be expecting this.
Yet again, another scandal.
You're going back to Parliament today. You're resuming today.
We're opening today, and in fact, I think there's even a meeting today with the Speaker
chairing a meeting with regards to taxation and evasion of tax and financial, transaction. So I'm hoping to be there at the auditorium. But I think I discussed this issue last time with Randy, and one of the key things I said was the fact that there's a thin line between transparency and business negotiation, and sometimes if you're not careful, we may be going into areas where we're not supposed to, in the sense that, and my argument is that in as much as all information needs to be in the public domain, not all business transactions, because of the virtue of proprietary information, ought to be in the public domain. And I'm of the opinion that I'm always for private enterprise. I'm also for government partnering with private enterprise. But the deal structuring based on Business 101 is not meant for everybody to know necessarily the deal structuring. For instance, if Oracle tells you that they'll provide you with networking services for X amount of money, and you say no, and you go to Microsoft or another vendor, and they give it to you at a quadruple the price because they believe in the service they'll provide, it is up to you to compare the service delivery across other maybe institutions and then decide on where you go.
But you see, how do you do that when you don't allow others to compete?
I think you've spoken and then...
No, I know. But you cannot get the best if you don't open it up for competition.
Can I make my argument?
Okay, go ahead.
Yes. So when it comes to internet connectivity or the service provision, when it comes to networking, it's very complicated. And I by no means want to say that I know, IT. I wouldn't say that, but I know for sure that deal structuring, just as in the oil industry, if you're not privy to the the integrations of things, you'll be amiss. So I think that the thought is appropriate. Computerizing or provision of internet across many educational institutions at this point in time is very crucial. And I think this year the president did a fantastic job of launching this program where tablets will be given to over 2,000 students across the SSS. And I think that these are the things that show that we are up to the times. We wouldn't have students graduate and they don't know control delete or these things that are very common with the rest of the world, where computerization is the gateway to wealth now in the world. So one, it's commendable. Two, in due time, whatever level of transparency, whatever level of accountability that is required of the education ministry and the partners that they added for this program will come to bear. And I believe that even the Ministry of Communication is also with us in this thing. So it's not just education, but it is communication. And I beg to differ with APAC in the sense that you might be an educationist, but you're not a communicationist. Let me put it that way. So you have the broader picture, but when it comes to communication contracting, it's like me asking Bill Gates.
Communicationists, educationists, what expertise, which of them do you need to tell that Wi-Fi is not working?
We just wanted to follow process.
My point has to do with the contracting, the amount he's quoting, 63,
that has to do with the contract.
80K.
Like we have two-pronged approaches to this issue. That has to do with the details of the contract, which you're saying, because we don't know the details, it's not everything we can put out. I agree.
And as it stands,
but
most of the STEM schools have internet access.
No, we don't talk about STEM schools.
No, I'm saying as it stands.
Then
the president
has
given tablets.
That with all the schools that we expected to put Wi-Fi in, college education, the secondary schools and all that, What else do we need to determine whether the
St. Peter's,
Wi-Fi
where
are
I
not,
went to, has an ICT lab now, which is functioning.
and the Wi-Fi
they
is working?
Is working. So I mean, like, it's a case by case.
Are you sure
basis.
old boys are not financing
You know,
it? We know what is going on.
So my point here, I mean, and I'm trying to be very careful based on our experience with public account that, you know, in many instances where we thought, hey, we have seen a very corrupt deal, we only then later wake up to realize that, you know what, in fact, government saved money. And this is the experience even with the ABBEY deal.
I like how the LDP communicators, including Kisi, have suddenly found solace
In what?
and public account committee acquitting people. He forgets to add that others too have been found to be culpable, including hopefully those who
agree with you,
have
but
taken over $2.5 million and we have not seen the SkyTrain.
No, but
And
listen,
you know, the Kwalugu Dam. You sit on public accounts as well.
I'm only letting us appreciate the fact that many times we've cried wolf only to arrive at something not being wolf.
But the problem is
And
that
otherwise-
follow the
Otherwise,
processes.
too, is there.
Okay.
But
Annie.
I want to err on the side of caution.
Annie,
Yeah.
what,
You have to appreciate-
what we Ghanaians are asking for
you have to appreciate
is
that.
follow
So-
the processes.
so-
let them be transparent.
So this is an
So
involved.
Nana Piamwa said I should tell you
Be
that,
accountable.
good morning, Annie. Dr. Clement Appa should give us a break. He's talking as if he's never been had an opportunity to govern this country. Dr. Bawumia stands tall compared to John Mahama. At least JM had been vice president and president before and has nothing new to offer. So say no to cancellation of General Mahama and to good counseling with Dr. Bawumia. So Nana Ekuama Boateng sent from Ablekuma Central. You say thank you for the message, but
Annie, the point I want to make is
you
that-
know that our students are struggling in Morocco, right?
Yes.
You
Just
have-
this morning, I even received a message, SOS, of our students in the UK telling me that they have not received their
This
stipends
is another whole topic.
for 10 months. But it's education sector related.
it is
So I'll be
another
raising
whole
these
topic.
matters
Are you
on
worried?
the
Are you
floor
worried?
of Parliament.
But I think that
hopefully.
the scholarship
No,
secretariat
I wanted to make a quick point
will
on the
make a
Wi-Fi.
statement.
Do you know
with
what the
regards to
scholarship secretariat is saying?
I wanted to.
What are
They,
saying?
I'm told that they've been invited to Parliament to come and answer questions. They
Yeah,
say
that-
they,
they
don't
are- they are
report
not
to
on
Parliament.
education.
They are not under education,
Yeah.
so they report to the president
Office of the President. And that is
because
part
it's
of
a
the
special
problem.
initiative.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but either way, a statement will come out.
Annie, the point I want to make on this Wi-Fi issue and its implementation, it is not just that we are losing money by paying for a service that we
We're
are
not
not
getting.
getting in terms of value for money. It's not that we are looking at a potentially criminal matter in terms of, taxes and non-payment of, Senate contributions for previous staff. But we are also looking at a situation where the policy of one student, one laptop would suffer. Because if there is no internet connectivity,
There was a point
the
giving them.
usage of these tablets, as far as the students are concerned, is not going to give us value for money. It will mean that they would have to use them offline.
They might use it, but not to its optimum.
And I've seen the tablets. After we raised concerns and, we raised public awareness about the way it was being done, also another sole source contract, by the way, and all of that. And the fact that the committee was not apprised until we started speaking, we had the opportunity to go and see where they were being assembled. And we were told during the briefing that if we are going to get the full value of the tablets as far as the students are concerned, we need to have proper, regular, sustainable internet connectivity in all our secondary schools. And here's the case. We don't.
This is what I'm allowing.
And yet we are paying money.
I wish you well in Parliament.
Just imagine that.
We'll be following.
Is it not depressing
Yes.
what is happening to the
We'll
Republic?
be following all
Annie,
your activities.
Change must come.
Okay.
Ghanaians must change the
Bawumia
current
is
status
a
quo.
change.
Okay.
Bawumia is
John
a change.
Dramani Mahama
Mahama we know.
is the change Ghana needs.
Mahama
We
we
must
know.
reset
We'll be
Ghana.
back. We'll be back. We'll be back.
Mahama we know.
We will be back. To Trent today, and the Trent gentleman is here, Starboy.
Annie. Which Black Star song do you know how to sing?
Ghana Black Stars, we gonna turn on fire.
Was it there? Oh, that's Grace Ashley, right? Oh, Ghana Black Stars, we're gonna fire.
I love that
Oh,
song.
you like that
today.
one, eh?
Yeah.
Come on, Black Stars, Ghana.
No,
Hey, that's
that
all.
one's some way.
Oh.
You know, this one has some a supper move be. You can use it for all the dances.
So
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you're like, Kudus Day.
That's one to use this
Oh,
one.
that's from Kweku Flake.
Hey,
I don't know.
I haven't heard it.
Oh,
you have to
that's-
play it for me to hear.
I'll get that for you during the week. But of course, as you can see around her neck, she's a proud Ghanaian.
Yeah.
More than us. That's what she.
I'm telling you.
But hey, it was an exciting day
I'm
yesterday.
not even playing.
Yeah,
Hey.
yesterday, see, Kumasi people can pull up.
Yeah, they did.
I was around with Maguire and the rest of the team in Kumasi. The people were rushing to the stadium.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And they were like the 13th man before the Black Stars.
Kumasi is a country on its own. Oh.
And
Kumasi is just Kumasi.
Kumasi.
Wow.
So yesterday was Kumasi.
No, Kumasi there, don't joke.
Yeah.
It's a country on its own. When you went, didn't you buy Hausa cocoa?
Oh, I mean, we had the chop everything for Kumasi. Yesterday.
And when you bought it, what was the cost?
Send the number of.
Thank you.
And I'm good for. I saw all the sports journalists.
Look, you 20 cities waiting for me. Kumasi.
Anyway.
You know, people say that there's no sea in Kumasi, but they have the cheapest fish.
Yeah,
You just wonder.
I mean, relatively,
I don't know.
It is very cheaper than Accra, but yeah, that one today. So congratulations to the Black Stars. Yesterday they beat Central African Republic by 4-3. Actually, I was watching the game and me Black Stars they lose. I make calm. I dare my corner. They had the throw man and say, Gile, trouble, you know, but they did well. Jordan, are you?
They didn't do well. Jordan did well.
But Jordan is part of the team.
Jordan did well.
And it was the coach's tactics. I mean, in the first half, I had issues with it because, okay, we'll be talking. More of that will be said on Metro Sports, so I don't want to, get.
No, I think in brief about the coach, I have always been for the coach, even before he was called.
Yeah.
And when I was, trying to push for that agenda, people thought, but it's like, what do you know about sports and things like that? I'm like, oh, this coach, when he came, there are a few things he did which I thought that he can stand his ground and do what he wants to do.
Yeah.
The fact that he was able to put the day aside, I thought that, hey, you must be strong. The day you touch the day,
you get
he get vim. So that was the first move for me. I thought that he would be a man of his own, without manipulations.
True.
And even though I loved the day, I love the fact that he was bold and did what he wanted to do. I think the day is not better. Then the second thing I think about the coach is he reads the game well. So you watch first half, you see that it's not going well. He comes second half, it changes.
Yeah. And that's what got us the goals
exactly.
yesterday.
And if you're a coach and you're not able to read games, then you and I were pet.
Yeah.
He gets.
For his comeback, we're excited that we won 2 games.
Yeah.
Went away to Mali. We won yesterday, but there are a few things that needs to be worked on. Hopefully by March next year, when we're able to play our next games, we'll put that together because Charlie, defense, there are still a few issues with that. Yeah. But I mean, we won yesterday. Kumasi was crazy. When they closed the game and they played Kimpalutes, I said, hey, oh, yeah. So big shout out to Kumasi for pulling out.
Big shout out to Jordan, are you?
Of course, nothing can be taken away from him.
I don't know what you guys want from him.
No. Hat-trick on the day.
I mean, what's from him?
Yeah, he got 3 goals on the day. But of course, we also considered 3 goals from one player from Central African Republic. ABBEY, Anyway, so kudos to the Black Stars for winning that yesterday. But over the weekend, this is something that I hope that a lot of people who say we are from the Ashanti Kingdom and I are Santifor here in Grand 4, I mean, it puts us together, talking about the Gamanche and Otum for meeting up on Sunday.
Big deal.
That's a big thing, and all of us need to learn from that, because on social media, there are lots of tribal
war.
Yeah, I'm trying to choose a
quote
yeah.
unquote. It's
Yes,
tribal war.
you know, a lot of people.
I mean,
do,
it's on virtual tribal
You know,
war.
people do these things on social media. Meanwhile, these people are friends. People have lived their lives over the years, and now they have the opportunity to gather. You know, the various states and kingdom as it is in the Ashanti Kingdom. So please, let's forget that and support them. I heard a story about the Gaman chain.
But the Gaman chain, a guy,
Yeah. Someone has been in our space before.
No, a guy.
Yeah.
Which space?
Oh, in the media space. You know,
okay, that's what you mean.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or a guy.
Yeah. Shout.
Very calm.
Composed.
Not so much of, there's a word I want to use. But maybe I'm used to
But let's move on. So,
go on.
Yes. So kudos to these two for uniting the front for us, Gaman channel. So the Asante Hene. Now let me wrap up with this beautiful dance move from the man Henry Corte. And I see you talk about me. I always giving too short, be like the dancing, you know. Let's watch the video.
Don't watch me. Watch.
So you
was
see
he wearing your shirt, Sam? Or what he was wearing was different?
The way they give the moves, I don't know where
he can dance.
I'll be like, okay, those days, not Sapaucha moves now. You know, he it's coordinated moves.
Yeah.
Unlike, okay.
Unlike what?
Was it? Everything is possible. If you don't know how to dance, you may know how to dance. You can learn how to dance. Yeah. Shouts to that. Yesterday they were in Kumasi. Now, poppy, there's and the bars. It's possible. Say, hi, breaking the 8. It will be possible. That's right.
But Dr. Baumia was in Kumasi.
Yeah.
It must have been a very excited moment for him.
But why people were saying that he visited the team, and so that's why the team were losing. And Ghana for money.
You
saw the picture.
Yeah, DM pictures. No, you see, those ones those ones spoiled his record. So they are refusing to accept that this one it is possible.
Anyway, so those are some of the trends going
possible.
About Nigerians, they were trolling them on Twitter.
They were trolling
with all their stars.
They were trolling their stars.
4 games. Oh, they lost yesterday to Benin.
Oh.
In the World Cup qualifiers.
So they are out?
No.
They still have
a lot of, but they are like out of 6. They are like the 4th team. They have 23 points. I'm a bomb. I'm a Nigeria.
You have started.
Whichever shan.
They will take you on.
All of it. So that's it for the trends today. Shouts to my guy Prince Wilson. Yeah. Shouts to watching the show always. Let me know fans
Kumasi.
Yeah.
Is it Kumasi you're mentioning that you can't mention well?
That's the song for Kudus. That's the song.
Oh, give us the sound.
So that's it. Kudus there.
It's not bad.
I
love Kudus.
Yeah.
Have you seen the little white boy video where he was praying that Ghana loses a game so Kudus will come back to the team?
That was earlier in the season.
That's how you know that Kudus is a value.
Oh no, he's really made a mark for himself, this season. So that's it for the trends today. My name is Desi the Star. But quick announcement: we have our Twitter accounts back at Metro TV GH. Yes, on Twitter. So now you can tag us on Twitter, you can post whatever that at Metro TV Ghana on Twitter. You can join us there. So Jesus, bring it back. So we brought it back. Our Twitter account is back.
This one is going to be somebody's husband. Somebody's husband, though.
My name is Desiree Starboy.
Somebody's husband. Thank you for coming. We're back tomorrow. Good morning, Ghana. I'm hoping to see Dr. Randiabi tomorrow.
Yeah, sure, definitely.
All right. So, congratulations to all of us. Thank you to the Black Stars. Our support will always be with you. For now, we'll see you again in the afternoon for the news.